Do 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 do. This is Dina's vlog. Do 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 do. 2018 goals coming at ya. Hey guys, my name is Dina Marie Rodriguez, and I am a full-time hand lettering artist, teacher, product maker, and a bunch of other things living in Portland, Oregon. And today's vlog, I'm going to be talking about a subject that you're probably going to see popping up a lot around the internet, and that's all about our goals going into the new year. Now, especially if you are working from home or you would like to work from home, being a full-time or even part-time artist of any kind, it's really important that you go ahead and you look back. I think at the end of every year, December is a great time for that, to look back, what have I done, what worked, what didn't, and how can I do more of what worked. So for me, 2018 is going to be full of a lot of really cool things, and I can't wait to share them with you during today's vlog. So, as some of you know, the biggest thing that I'm going to be starting off January in the new year, hell yeah, new year, is the Women of Illustration web series. Now, this originally started out as a podcast, but due to an insane amount of technical difficulties and just everything that could have gone wrong did, and my sanity just couldn't take it, we decided, fuck it, we're going to do a web series instead. And since I've been enjoying doing this whole vlogging process, I thought, hey, I really like video production and editing much more than audio, so let's just switch it. And the whole point behind this project was for women to be more visible in the art industry, and it's hard to be visible if you can't actually see us. So in the past few weeks, I've started the first official web series recording with an amazing, talented illustrator. Her name is Irene Fellio. Usually when you ask the question, how do you find your style? The answer is practice. So we dive really deep into that answer to discover what are the best ways to practice, and more importantly, how do we find time to practice? So here's a short clip from what you can expect in January coming up with Irene. So with that being said, what do you think about the whole, like, you need 10,000 hours to be an expert?
Yeah, so I was
thing?
just about to bring that up with this whole conversation because who knows if I've even done the 10,000 hours, but yeah, I mean, the more work you do, the more you figure out. And I've always been a super firm believer of that, just because I meet so many people who are good at illustration, who like to do illustration, but they're they're not comfortable enough to call themselves an illustrator necessarily.
Mm-hmm.
And they haven't necessarily developed their own style, even though that they want to. And I'm like, if you just keep doing work, then that will happen naturally. And you can only do that through time. I don't know if I want to put a direct number behind it, but yeah, it's definitely not a bad thing to just keep working.
If you guys would like to get early access to these first set of videos I'm doing with Irene, please consider supporting us at patreon.com/women of illustration. And just for $1, you guys get complete early access to every single episode, and you get access to a monthly live Q&A that we're going to be having with each guest. All right. Next thing, breaking news. Are you ready? I know. Okay, so me and my really good friend Noah Camp, who is a stellar fucking 3D lettering artist. Yeah, that's a thing. And he's actually spearheading this movement of actually taking lettering into the 3D world, and he does some amazing things. He's amazing. So me and Noah are partnering on actually launching our own lettering conference. Yeah, lettering conference. So we're still working out all the details. This is something we literally just started talking about in the last week or so. We're planning on launching it in the summer. It's going to be a 2-day weekend conference. We're going to have 4 different 3-hour workshops. Our first day on Saturday is going to be completely dedicated to marketing. So we're going to be talking about how to boost your engagement on social media, how to up that follower count, how to actually get noticed by bigger clients so you can sell your work, especially if it's hand lettering. So really just talking about how we can make money from our art. Now, day 2 is mostly focused on your craft and building up those lettering skills. So it's going to launch off with a workshop by me, just really helping you figure out the biggest issue that I keep hearing from every single person that I talk to about lettering, and that's creating a really beautiful decorative lettering layout. It's one thing to know how to draw a letter. It's a completely other thing to Frankenstein and figuring out how to incorporate accents and filigree and swashes and spot illustrations, and how you can actually mix styles so that way it has one cohesive message and tone. And that's something I want to be able to help you guys with. And then the next workshop is going to be from Noah, and this is going to be his first ever lettering workshop, and it's going to be showing you guys how to make 3D lettering using Cinema 4D. I'm so excited. I've never done 3D. I think it's going to be fun. You think it's going to be fun? Me too. So, as some of you know, I have been teaching at the PNCA. It's the Pacific Northwest College of Arts here in Portland, Oregon. I've taught an array of classes. I've taught illustrated hand lettering course. I've taught in 2 portfolio courses. One that was mostly focused on how to curate your portfolio and make it just more marketing worthy to your clients, so you can actually get the exact kind of clients you want instead of having to compromise your values and go on Craigslist right after you graduate. And then the next class was all about website design. So I decided to combine my favorite parts of all those courses to mix them all into one. Now, this is something that probably won't come out until next fall, but and again, don't know what I'm going to call it, but it's pretty much going to be a social media for artists online course. Now it's going to be treated exactly like a college course, so it's going to be 3 months. You guys are going to learn a ton of stuff. We're going to figure out what your social media goals are so we can take steps in order for you to actually achieve those goals. There's going to be weekly live streams, so that way we can actually critique each of our work, so that way we can make sure we're putting out our best possible work out into the ether of social media. And you guys are going to be able to kind of check out all these different studio projects and series and campaigns, so that way you can attract the right kind of clients and customers to your social media profile. All right, a lot of you guys, I've been getting questions about lettering adventures. So for those of you that do not know about Lettering Adventures, it's a monthly workbook series that is available at patreon.com/lettershop. This is when I actually create a digital workbook for you guys to learn one new style of vintage hand lettering every single month. So this past month, we went ahead and released something that I'm calling Savvy Swashes. It's a serif, slightly varied weight style that just got released a few days ago. So if you guys are interested in checking out this workbook, it is available for instant download right now on patreon.com/lettershop. So this was originally a project that I was planning for it just to be a yearly thing. I just thought 2017, one workbook, 1 month, and it was pretty trying at times doing something so consistently, especially with all these other things I've been working on and planning. And I really didn't think I would make it, but it turns out if you work really hard towards a goal, you can achieve it. Weird. So if you guys have checked out my Instagram, I have done a couple of additional projects since our last vlog, and I want to share them with you. So the first piece is Screen Junkie. Now this took me a while to kind of navigate. It's based off this old enamel pin design that really was just an eyeball with a Wi-Fi signal in the pupil, and something about that aesthetic just really drew me in. And I really am just trying to, I think, connect us lazy people a little bit, or us homebodies that are screen obsessed. It's not uncommon for me and Rick, my fiance, to just be watching TV while he's also playing video games, while I'm also on my iPad, while I'm also on my phone. So we have like multiple screens at all times. I'm sure a lot of you can relate to this. And even though I know I probably shouldn't and like leave my house and experience the real world, I'm still pretty addicted to my screens. And sometimes that's okay. Last piece, which actually ended up being my most successful piece, was Type Nerd Alert. Now, this was a piece that I originally did as a spot illustration in my book. That's right here, actually. It's called The Big Awesome Book of Hand and Chalk Lettering. So I actually went ahead and did this piece called Type Nerd Alert when I was showing you guys how to do mono weight script in this book. You guys can see it right here, along with just a bunch of other pieces that I've done. Now it's funny because I think there's over like 50 illustrations in this book, and it was really cool just to be able to go back to stuff I've already created to make new again. So I ended up completely changing the color scheme. I completely redrew this piece from scratch instead of just building off of it. So you definitely see me like tweaking and making adjustments and making sure the kerning's better and that the weight's more consistent, just so it's just like this perfect piece. And then I gave it this crazy drop shadow, and then as an afterthought, it was kind of like a cool afterthought, I filled the entire drop shadow with a bunch of popular icons used in Photoshop and Illustrator. And when I posted on Instagram, it did amazingly well. Out of all the posts from the past year, it actually was like my top 3. That's crazy. So just comes to show you, you never know what's gonna get better engagement on social media. unless you put it on social media. Okay, last thing. I know you're like, okay, Dina, you have too many goals. You're being crazy. Your eyes are bigger than your time slot. I know. I feel you. I get you. But I swear, I really think I can do it this year. So the last thing comes from a lot of different inspiration. One, just teaching at a fine art college and seeing all these students do all these crazy, beautiful projects, going to a lot more craft fairs and festivals, and then having a lot of late night discussions with my fiance on possible collaborations. So with that being said, I think I want to start switching from design more into art. Now, that doesn't mean like client work aside, still going to totally do commercial work, but I want to kind of like dip my pinky toe into the fine art world just like a little bit, and really start to explore with different materials and art supplies to make my work a little bit more tangible and custom made versus doing something digitally and getting it printed somewhere. What if I like did a crazy wood installation or actually painted lettering on canvas, something that you don't actually see all that often. Now, one thing, I think that out of all these different inspirational pinpoints, the biggest thing that kind of got me interested was I went to Crafty Wonderland. That was this past week. Crafty Wonderland is this insane craft fair that's in Portland that goes on every year right before Christmas. There's so many vendors. It's like completely jam-packed with just the most artsy indie people you've ever seen in your life. It's amazing. So much talented people. Often it's their first time putting themselves out there, looking at all these really cool pieces. But there was one guy in particular, and it was like I think the first or second booth that we went to, because we always like to start from like the very back to the front. And this guy had, I can't even tell you, it was so cool. He went ahead and he had these die cut pieces of wood that he painted on top of. So that alone is already cool, but his design aesthetic and style was so unique. It definitely like looked like his original work. And on top of that, I also recently went to this really cool arcade bar with my fiance Rick and then my really good friend Britt, who was originally my student and intern, now is slowly becoming more of a best friend. It was the first time she had gone to an arcade bar like this, and luckily it was empty, so the place was all ours. And me and Rick just, after like we're playing like Jurassic Park and like Pac-Man and all these really cool games, we're like really like starting to analyze these games a little bit and starting to think, how did they make these? How did they time the lights with the music, and how did that all come together? And then me and Rick both kind of like looked at each other and we're like, okay, what if we made something like this? What if we took your art and I put it into a wood installation that actually moved and was timed with lights and sound? And we were just kind of like, okay, yeah, let's do that. That sounds so much fun. So that would be something I would definitely do more for myself. That's a little bit further away from the business side of things. But I think as artists, we really need to take more time for ourselves and to explore our own curiosities, because it's not always about money. Yes, it's important to pay your bills and not be homeless, of course, but you have to be able to fuel your passion and find a way to get inspired again so you can keep on making even cooler work every year to come. So that's the download of all the cool things I want to be able to get done in 2018 and more. Who knows if I'll actually be able to accomplish all of these goals. I certainly hope that I can, but I feel good about the planning phase, and the ideation phase is always the most fun anyway. So if you guys haven't already, I seriously recommend before the new year rings in, definitely take some time, even if it's just a to-do list and a bullet list of goals and accomplishments you want to try to do for yourself, whether it's to be more visible in the industry by creating opportunities for yourself and emailing a bunch of blogs to be featured, or podcasts to be a part of, or even a speaking event at a conference or an event. Maybe you want to add new things to your portfolio because you have a perfect idea of the kind of work you would like to do, but you don't actually have any of that work to prove that you can do it. Maybe that's something that you want to focus on more. Maybe you want to be crazy and you want to do a 365 project just so you can practice and really hone your skills and have fun with your art. Whatever it is, write it down, tell your friends and family so you can stay accountable, and have a fucking sick ass new year. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope you're excited about all the things and conferences and courses and products and stuff that I plan on making in the next year. And I can't wait to hear all about your goals coming up. So please feel free to leave those below in the comments. If you guys haven't already, please consider hitting that subscribe button. I would love for you to join our community. Thanks, guys. Bye. Oh, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, Happy Holidays, all the things.